What's the difference between a credit score and a credit report? My name is Dash with Mind Over Finance, and for those of you who might be confused, by the end of today's short video, you'll know the difference between the two. Hey, click that like button. I like to think of your credit report as a story. So it's this detailed account of all your debts and loans that you've been responsible for as an adult and how you've handled them. So from the time you turn 18 years old, the story of your credit report begins. Because this story constantly changes based on how you deal with these debts and loans throughout the course of your adult life, it's kind of like a never-ending story. Let's look at a formal definition. According to Wikipedia, a credit history is a record of a borrower's responsible repayment of debts. A credit report is a record of the borrower's credit history from a number of sources, including banks, credit card companies, collection agencies, and governments. A borrower's credit score is the result of a mathematical algorithm applied to a credit report and other sources of information to predict future delinquency. This is what my credit report looks like, and it details all of the key information about my loans, past and present. Here's a glimpse at some of the info you might find in a credit report. Things like payment history, late payments, public records, collections, and whether or not you're paying your accounts the way you and your lender agreed on. Other information you might find on a credit report includes things like how much debt you're carrying, the length of your credit history, and the age of your accounts. And it keeps a critical tally of how you're making your payments month after month. If your credit report is this ongoing story, this ongoing log of your debts and loans, think of your credit score as a snapshot. Your credit score takes all of these factors from your credit history, it weighs them, measures them, and drills them down into a convenient bite-sized number that summarizes just how creditworthy you are at a single moment in time. The moment that a lender pulls your credit. Let's look at a formal definition for a credit score. Also according to Wikipedia, a credit score is a numerical expression based on a level analysis of a person's credit files to represent the credit worthiness of an individual. A credit score is primarily based on a credit report, information typically sourced from credit bureaus. Whether it's coming from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, your credit score is going to be a number, and at the time of this recording, a number between 300 and 850. This chart comes from the Experian website, and it shows what the credit score numbers represent, with 300 being very poor credit, numbers in the low to mid 600s being fair credit, and high 700s and up being excellent credit. And these are the score ranges based on Vantage scores. I'm sure we'll talk about those in another video. And the range from very poor credit to exceptional credit is very similar with FICO scores. So what's the difference between your credit score and your credit report? Your credit report is the story with all of the juicy details, and your credit score is the snapshot, the quick and convenient number that sums up your credit history at a single point in time. A few things to keep in mind. Your credit score and your credit report are not set in stone. So if your credit report is dodgy and your credit score sucks, it doesn't have to stay that way. And the only reason I'm saying that to you is because I had to dig myself out of a pretty deep financial hole. So it's always a good idea to know what your credit score is and what your credit report says. I check both of mine at least once a year. That's kind of like a financial checkup. And don't quote me on this, but I thought I read somewhere that you're supposed to be able to get at least one credit report per year for free by law. If I find out that's true, I'll look around and find out where you can do that, and I'll leave a link to it in the description box. I don't know if you get credit scores for free. I paid for mine, and I got mine from myfico.com, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box too. Another short one for today, guys. I really appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you got something from it, make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to catching you in the next video.